play. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Rise Up, and I'm your host VitaLetum, and once again, I'm going to be talking about Starcraft and how you can improve, and I'm working up still from Diamond to Masters. I have just made it into High Diamond, so I'm getting a little bit closer. This is Season 8, by the way, so this is really recent, at least as of June 18th, or June 19th now. This is going to be a PvP. Now, I know mirror matchups can be kind of boring because a lot of times it's the same thing. PvP, it's typically the 4-gate, which has changed now, but still in the Diamond Leagues, it's still typically 4-gate. It doesn't really start varying until you get into Masters. And ZVZ is typically 14-14, and TVT, it's normally one race expand, either Mass Bio or Mech. And yeah, it does get repetitive, but one thing that's really nice about it is, depending on what build they do, it really gives you a chance to really refine a strong, solid build that can be played against all matchups. Because one thing about mirror matchups is that typically all the builds that you can do against your own race that you're playing, such as TVT, PvP, is that it can be used against the other matchups too. Like 4-gate can be used against the other matchups if done really well. 3-gate Robo can be done against the other matchups. 3-gate Stargate can be done against the other matchups. I mean, you don't really see 3-gate Stargate, but it works really well against 3-gate Robo, interestingly enough. So if you scout that Robo, Stargate, because you should have the same stalker count, especially if you went defensive 4-gate. Or defensive 3-gate, my apologies. And so right now what I'm doing is as I said before, I'm playing random for the entirety of this season. I'm just going to be playing random. And the reason for that is I still want to be able to practice my main race, which is Terran. And I want to be able to learn the timings of the other races, or at least get a better idea of when it happens. And the reason for that is so I know important times to scout based on what... So when I do my first scout, which is typically when you see the gas and the gateway and the cyber core, that's depending on what I see, I'll be able to kind of know what's going on, what people are doing. And make a educated guess from that point. And that's really something that leads to not just an advantage in game, but that helps improve your build out a lot, because that means you can react to things that they're doing. It means that you can add variance to your build. So if you have a couple builds, or you have one build, it doesn't just have to be one build. You can have a core build, and then you can expand off of it depending on what you see, and then you can refine it depending on what you see. So let's say you go 3-gate, and if you see him going for a fast expand, maybe instead of chrono boosting out your warp gate technology a little bit faster, maybe you want to do an extra round of units and go ahead and chrono boost all 3 of those out really quick, and you have 6 units pressuring them really quickly before you take your own expansion, and hope to delay their expansion, or even just have their money go way up and they have no idea how to spend it, and they're playing catch up in that aspect at the bare minimum. And another thing is, let's say you do a 3-gate and you see a let's say you do a 3-gate and you go ahead and you see that he's not expanding. Then from that point you can say, alright, let's make sentries instead and save up a little bit more of our gas. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different things that you can do. I mean, having a build and then having build variance is probably one of the most important things you can learn in this game. I mean, macro, micro is, again, but like I've said in the future, I think it was the first episode, I said that there is at least 15 things that are extremely important in this game. I mean, you have the major ones, but there is at least 15 things that are really important in this game. And some are very similar to things like micromanagement and macromanagement, but very different all at the same time. So right now this has kind of turned into that standard really bland one going aggressive for gate and one going really aggressive for gate, but I already held off the main attack, so I don't think I'm going to have a problem. And as we see in the production screen, he already has a robotics facility, and he's building a Twilight Council. So either A, he's going DT, or B, he's going for Archons. And either one of those, if he doesn't get these force shields from me walking down the ramp, then he loses the game. And I understand that there's a teching point at this. If you're not going to expand, you need to tech. And but going to tech options is just kind of something a little bizarre and ridiculous and something you shouldn't do. And normally here you don't keep your stalkers there. You keep 1 or 2 sentries at their front door, because risking those stalkers is just, at this point in the game, is just something you can't afford to do. Because PvP is an extreme numbers game. Now he is going to kill a couple of my probes, and this is a problem, but he is still down over 12 food at the moment. And he's going to be down even more food when I kill those zealots, so I'm not too worried about it. And once again, he's going for Colossus, so he got that Twilight Council, and now he's going for Colossus, so that's really going to hurt him in the long run. I don't see a way. I mean, he gets a nice force field here, which is good, but he has one more, and he won't be able to spend any money towards a Colossus at all. So he gets a robotics facility, he has a Twilight Council that's sitting, and he hasn't been able to use either one. So I'm not here to critique him so much as I'm just showing that you need to be decisive on what you're doing. You need to make choices, and you can't be indecisive about it. Once you make a choice, it's done. Just be confident with it and know it's going to do well. And if you don't think it's going to do well, then you have to stick with it and try your best to make the right units from the building that you make to make you survive until you have the ability to add more tech, until you have the ability to expand. And there's a lot of other things to say about this game. I mean, I guess the main point of this game is I wanted to say that mirror matchups is the matchup you're going to learn the most in. And so don't be upset when you get them. Don't be angry about them, because they're not bland at all. They have a lot of depth to them. And realizing that depth is probably pretty hard because you see a lot of the same units, and that's frustrating. So, yeah. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys next time. This is VitaLetum signing out.